So let's get this one while we have a few minutes. And again, Jordan Montgomery will join us in about 15 minutes. Mike Trout asked about his injury last night and where he's going to be next season. And we have these comments to run back. So let's run them first, and then we will continue to kind of peel off layers of this story, because some people are saying it's not a story. It is a story, okay?
Frustration level knowing that this injury is keeping you out the rest of the way?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's better now, obviously, but I wanted to get back. It's tough, so it's been hard on me. So, yeah.
Are these emotions because of the frustrations of this year, or is it compounding because of the injuries?
I just want to be out there. Yeah, the injuries. That sucks. I mean, like I said, all the hard work and stuff, and just freak stuff happens. So, but trying to stay positive. So. I go through this every year, so it's like I think there's private conversations I have with Artie and John, and it's like I said, I'm doing the same thing I did last 13 years, just going to the off season, clearing my mind, getting ready for spring, and wearing the Angels uniform in spring. So.
Do you feel confident in the direction that this franchise is headed in after this season now?
I mean, look, the last few weeks has been tough. I get that, but there isn't no one in here that wants to win more than me.
First off,
that hat's fire in the back. That's what's first off.
Yeah.
The Eagles hat in the back is
Take
fire.
it from Kratz hats.
Yeah.
Second of all, though, that emotion's real.
Have we ever seen him like that? Has there ever been an interview where we've seen him that, honest emotion?
AJ? Do you remember any?
I don't ever remember seeing him like that. I mean, that upset, that emotional, that. I mean, he had to take a breath because he was about to start crying. Which, you want real talk, Scott? That was real talk right there.
I want that. That's real Mike Trout sitting there in a clubhouse where there is a teammate of his who does whatever the case is. If the tibia is fractured, whatever. Sorry, I got to bring it up. It's Rendon. He is not talking like that to everyone else. So.
And I love the.
Kratz, can you teach Erik how to use? Kratz, can you teach Scott how to use his mic, please? Because
I'm the tech guy here, but he refuses to listen.
I mean, it is unbelievable.
Who the tech guy is?
I think his pecs are getting in the way of his mic.
He's so limber. He's so limber that he's moving around in my beautiful setup that I have here. He doesn't have enough space. He needs a flag. Spread his wings at your house.
Just do it on the air. How's this sound? Is this better?
Better.
It should be better.
Just don't flex your pecs.
But I'm
going to remain calm here. I'm going to stay still the rest of the show.
What you were saying about how he's being honest and he just wants to be out there, that's what you want from your leader. And anybody who's going to play the narrative of, oh, Mike Trout, he's never out there, he's injury prone, all this stuff. This dude wants to be out there, and he showed it. He showed it in a very honest answer, got emotional about it. And if you are a player that doesn't play and isn't out there every day, we've heard it all year. Freddie Freeman wants to be out there every day. The entire Braves lineup wants to be out there every day. Those are ballers that want to be out there every single day. And if your leader, the best player in the game outside of the unicorn, Shohei, is saying this and getting emotional about not being out there to play in a season where they're under 500 and not going to make a playoffs again, you better check yourself on this team if you're not a guy that wants to be out there and pushes through an injury. He set that precedent for the rest of the time that he's a teammate of somebody with the Angels, or if he gets traded, which I felt like there was some alluding to not being real pleased of where the organization is going at the end of that conversation there.
I'm just going to say, somebody, I don't know, about a month ago or something, said something along the lines of, have a private conversation with Artie Moreno, go get coffee, go get breakfast, and maybe say, hey, it's time for me to move on. And I got absolutely destroyed by Angels fans saying, you can't get anything back from Mike Trout, and he's comfortable, and he doesn't play enough, and he doesn't care enough. Well, these emotions right here show you, one, he cares, he wants to play, he's frustrated because of his hamate bone injury that takes longer than people expected to come back from. Okay, you got Rendon. Seems like a good player, can't play, never gets on the field, right? Won't even tell us what's wrong with him. Okay, and then you got some other young guys that they've called up that have done a nice job for him. But are the Angels going to compete in the next 2 to 3 years with the Rangers, the Astros, and the Mariners? Probably not, right? So again, Mike Trout, it doesn't have to be public. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to stand in front of the cameras and say, I want to be traded. Go to Artie Moreno and say it privately and get something done to where you can go play for a winner. You deserve it, dude. You've given 13 years of your life to the Los Angeles Angels, of Anaheim, right? You've given them 13 years. You have gotten this many playoff wins. 0 in 13 years, right? It's time. And listen, I'm all for guys staying in an organization their entire career. And Joey Votto, we saw what happened with him, and Derek Jeter and all these guys. But they were trying to put good teams out on the field. And the Angels are trying. They're just not doing it well. And you could almost feel it in those comments. And again, you guys know Mike much better than I do, and I don't want to put words in his mouth. But it almost felt like, who were we have on yesterday? We were like, it felt like the end. Joey Votto, right? It kind of felt like the end when he was giving his comments after the game. Well, this almost, the way Mike was talking, it almost felt like a breakup was inevitable.
So there's so much going on here in the comments too. People are like, Trout requests a trade, Angels will leak it. No way it stays private, from Matt Mays. And I was like, they'll definitely leak it because it's
they're
about
the kings of that.
The PR
kings of it.
They're the kings of that, though. The
Yeah,
Angels are the kings of taking stuff that shouldn't be told and just, this slipped out a little bit.
That comes from the tippy top. So here's the thing. So Sam Blum writes about this team, Real Talk, and gets dinged for it, right? They don't let him do the radio show. That's Jeff Fletcher, his rival. Those two do a great job covering the team. They're not restricted on covering the team, at least in terms of what they write. I don't know about the access, but Blum said in his story, quote, Trout declined to say outright that he would not be requesting a trade despite being asked in different ways 3 separate times. So Sam is in the room and he is putting that in his own story. And then here is the quote from Trout, which I guess we saw, but I go through this every year. These are private conversations I have with Artie and John. Those are the owner and the president, John Carpino. I'm doing the same thing I've done the last 13 years. Going into the offseason, clearing my mind, going into spring, wearing an Angels uniform. I think many people look at that and say, oh, he's definitely going to be an Angel next year. No. That means that that's what he is supposed to do. They will have conversations this offseason. We'll see what happens. And in my mind, if Artie says to Trout, hey, dude, do you want us to try and explore a trade? I actually think Mike will say, yes. If you explore a trade, let's communicate on this and let me see what you got. Because unless I'm crazy, the next few years don't look promising.
You don't think Logan O'Hoppe and
I love Logan O'Hoppe.
I think Logan O'Hoppe's having an unbelievable month.
O'Hoppe,
8 homers.
Neto. There's a few.
Shanwell.
Yes. There's a few dudes
and
that
Artie
look very
Moreno
promising.
Will never buy pitchers.
There's
his words.
Well,
we're talking about
Kratz. Starting pitchers
don't play
basically pitch once a week. Why am I going to give my hard-earned money to an asset that does not deliver daily returns to my business?
I can't. Like
that's real. Okay.
That's his quote.
That's real. Let him come out and dispute that because he has said that. That is real.
I don't see how he could sit there and say, I would love to stay unless the family's comfortable, he's comfortable, and this is where it doesn't make him a less competitive person. You saw that in his emotion in the interview about wanting to play. But I don't know how, if Artie comes to him and says, how do you feel about this? How he would say, I want to stay. I think I'm going to ride this thing out. We'll be good in the next 5 years.
I think he cares, AJ, about legacy. Also, for anyone that's a Trout hater right now, like what, you're hating on some recent injuries?
Stop.
Get the fuck out of here. What he did for the sport for a while. And also, like, when he was on the field this year, he was still pretty damn good. And I still think he's got good baseball left. Is it his prime? Is he a little past his prime? Maybe. But do you know what past your prime means for Mike Trout? It means you're still a superstar. So in my mind, AJ, if Artie says, hey, dude, Philly's on line 1, we can work something out. Want to go? What do you think his answer is?
I think it would be an easy yes. Now, the question is, what does the package look like? Because the real question we got to get into, if we're going down this road, how much is Artie going to have to pay this contract to get something back? Because if you just say we're going to give Mike Trout, I don't know exactly how many years he has left. You guys, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think he has, what, six or 7 more years left on his contract?
Yeah, 2030.
So 2030. Okay, so he's got
7.
7 more years left. They're going to have to pay that down in order to get back any sort of return, because much like the Albert Pujols contract when it was signed, you start getting to, he's a center fielder. He's probably going to have to move from center field eventually. Injuries happen when you get older, whatever. But we get to those last 3-4 years, and it's kind of look at Miguel Cabrera, right? Look at even Joey Votto, right? These long contracts kind of come to an end. And you're like, oh, we paid for the early years, and the back end is just kind of bonuses. Now, if you're Mike Trout, you're like, well, if I'm in Anaheim, I'm going to hit 500 homers, 600 homers, whatever it is, start hitting those special numbers like Pujols did. Then you can monetize that and get money back. But if you're going to make a move and you're going to trade him, one, you have to get Trout's approval because he's a 10-5 guy, full no trade. And 2, you're going to have to pay a lot of money to get rid of him. So is Artie Moreno, the guy who Scott just said doesn't want to pay a whole lot, is he willing to pay it down in order to get a haul back? That's going to be the hang-up for me. Are there teams out there that would take Mike Trout right now? Oh, hell yeah, they would. And it'd be all over Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and everything, right? It'd be all over. Oh my gosh, the Phillies just traded for Mike Trout, right? Or, the Marlins or the Blue Jays or the whoever. Oh my gosh, we got Mike Trout. It'd be the biggest deal ever. But how much is Artie going to pay, and is he willing to do that?
I disagree a little bit there. I don't think they have to pay a ton down. 2 questions for you.
They're going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay it down.
Also, trades always depend how much a team wants to pay down versus give up prospects. So using Philly as the example, because that's near his hometown, Philly's got a lot of money. They're going to make a ton of money this year based on their attendance, their results, their TV contract. They're thriving there, and they would love to have him. My question is, A, if Mike Trout was waived today, would anyone claim him for the full contract? And B, if he was a free agent, what would his number be? Start to think about that, how close you get to the number that he's at.
I don't know.
37 a year? You don't think somebody wants Trout for 37 a year for the next 7 years? A 7-year contract? No.
Nope.
You don't think close, though? You don't think it's close?
You're going to have to pay it down to get rid of it.
So you would pay Trey Turner more than you would Mike Trout.
I'm just saying, if he went on waivers today, I don't know
would take him.
I don't know that anybody would claim. Okay, well, let's start going through the teams.
Disagree.
Let's see. Go through the teams that could afford him. First, you got to start with the teams that can afford him. Because already before you start, there's like 20 teams that are out.
They're gone. Pirates not getting them.
Pirates, Marlins, Rays, Reds.
Yep.
There's a whole slew of teams before you even start that are already out on the Mike Trout thing.
Yep.
Okay, you can probably throw the A's, Padres because they're already obligations, right? Even the Phillies have huge obligations still on the books for years.
Yeah, but the Phillies would take that deal right now.
I understood,
for
but
free,
I'm saying, understood.
They would take that deal.
Yankees, right, would be one that would take them, right?
Easy.
Mets, maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Done.
Yankees, Mets, Phillies. Okay,
Red Sox. 3. But again,
4.
Okay, so if you do all this work now, if you're the Yankees now, okay, yeah, we're going to get Mike Trout for $37 million. We got Judge on the hook for $40. We still have Stanton. We still have Cole. We just signed Rodon, right? We don't want to go.
Take the Yankees off. Take the Yankees off.
Okay.
I still got at least 5 to 7 teams that I think the Cubs. I agree. Cubs right now. Hey, free Mike Trout. Want him? Book it.
Okay, but they haven't shown the propensity to spend like that.
They will though this offseason. They will.
A player like Mike Trout is not available all the time.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, listen, do I think teams should do it? Absolutely. Do I think teams will do it? Probably not. And also, they'll also know that if it gets out that Mike Trout is on the market, okay? And as we've all said, the Angels will figure out a way to leak that, hey, Mike Trout requested a trade. And they'll make Mike look like the bad guy, okay? Somehow, some way, if this gets out and this becomes true, and we're not saying it's true. So before everyone says, oh, they're saying Mike Trout wants a trade. No. What I'm saying is if this gets out, the Angels will make it so Mike Trout is like, I'm demanding a trade or I'm not playing, which Mike would never do. I don't believe that at all. Okay, Mike would go to Artie and say, hey, if we can make something work, great. If not, I'll be an Angel for life and be happy. Okay? The thing is, if teams found out that Mike Trout, this got out, they know Mike Trout's on board, then they have Artie by, as they say, the old short hairs, right? Because they're like, yeah, pay it down or we won't take him or you're stuck with him. Because obviously he wants out and we know you're going to have to move him. So you want our good prospects? Give us $20 million a year to cover it.
No, he won't do that. He is not covering $20 million a year.
Well,
I'm telling you.
Then he's not going to get a return.
Happen. A team like the Phillies or Cubs, if this is real, if Artie's legit, they're going to say, we will pick up the contract or most of the contract. You are not going to get a ton back. This is not a Juan Soto trade or anything close to it. We will give you maybe one upper echelon prospect and one A-ball lottery ticket, not 7. And we will take most of the money. That's what I think will happen, if it happens. Agree?
I say they'll pay down $25 million, and then
total
from the Phillies. From the Phillies, they would get either Andrew Painter or Mick Abel. So one pitcher. They would get a player like Alec Bohm, maybe like a
not a major leaguer. No freaking way. Just prospects.
And that would be it.
No, not
and
a
that
major
would be
leaguer.
It. I think that's what I'm thinking they would get, and they would basically pay for that $25 million would pay for those prospects, for those players fitting in, because you need to put in a major leaguer into that package. Like a guy like Alec Bohm, I think is a great player. He's going to hit 100 RBIs this season. He's like a 770 OPS type of player. You're not talking about an all-star.
Yeah, but you don't need to trade a big leaguer. You trade prospects. Mm-hmm. You don't need to trade a big leaguer.
But at some point, the Angels want something.
Yeah, prospects.
Yeah, but
I don't think they trade big leaguers in a trade like
so
that, especially in the offseason.
So do the Angels take a Mick Abel or Andrew Painter, or do they take 3 of their top, 5, 6, and 12 prospects from the Phillies? You know what I mean? That's when you get like, do we want the one guy who's going to be a pitcher in our rotation, whether you think he's a 4 or a 5 or a 2 or a 3? Is that what you get for Mike Trout? Because he's already screwed up the not trading Ohtani thing. Like you can't keep screwing up not getting anything for the players that you have.
Sure you can. Sure you can.
And Mike Trout is not. I don't believe Mike Trout's on a decline. He has played through whatever he's played through this year. He has an 858 OPS. Before this year, he had, what his lowest OPS was? Or as Scott loves to say it, the OPS plus. Lowest ever was the 2020 season. He had a 167 OPS plus.
2020 was 8 games.
Last year, 176. Year before, 194. He has a career 994 OPS. And that's brought down by this year's 858.
You are missing a lot of teams, too. We just went over a team for 25 minutes yesterday that I think would beg to take every fucking penny of his
He doesn't
contract.
want to go to San Francisco.
I understand that, but I'm saying if the Giants called Artie and said, listen, we will take every fucking penny of that contract and give you 2 prospects.
And Mike Trout goes, yeah, I don't want to go there. Sorry.
Okay.
That's fair, but
that's not the argument.
See,
I understand that.
What we're also not considering is he has a full no trade. So if they go, hey, by the way, Mike, Oakland decided they want you. He's going to go, yeah, Artie, beat it. Like, go kick rocks, Artie, down the street in Anaheim. I mean, there's so much in play here that the problem is that if there is ever a trade that, first of all, the Angels have to find someone to take them, whatever it is, meaning whether they get the package back that they want, and 2, then they got to go to Mike. Because what happens if Mike goes, you know what? I don't really want to go to Philadelphia. I want to go somewhere else. They do all this work. I mean, it'd almost be like Mike would have to go to him and say, here's a list of 7 teams I'll go to, figure it out.
That's fair. I mean, I've obviously never been in those type of negotiations, but I think he would go to, I think a lot of teams would pick him up more than you would think.
It sounds like a wild offseason combo, too. I mean, obviously it's hot right now because you brought it up, but this is why I keep saying this could be one of the best off seasons ever. And I mean that. I'm not just saying that like just pumping up baseball. Every season's best season ever, best off season ever. No. Ohtani free agent, Trout potential trade, just that alone is crazy. I know there's not the same depth of position players available. And in that way, I think it makes it even more interesting with Trout, because it's not like teams are looking going, oh, well, there's a million superstars that we could pick up this offseason with just money. There's not much available. Obviously, Ohtani's in his own world. Bellinger is there. After that, it is a big drop off. It is. Chapman.
Our next guest. Our next guest is
I'm talking
legit.
position players.
There's some
position
good.
players.
Listen, there's some. I mean, you got Snell, you got Montgomery, you got Hader. I mean, there's some
No,
Stroman
it's good.
possibly. I mean,
But
the pitching
superstar
is
franchise
the
position
pitching
players.
is definitely better than the hitter side. Bellinger and
Bellinger, Ohtani.
yeah, but Otani's a
Matt
different animal.
Chapman.
Chapman, okay, but is Chapman a superstar, franchise-changing player?
It's borderline.
I think there's a question. I think before you would say he was. I think the last 2 years would say, I don't know.
The pitching's much better because, I mean, you've even got Yamamoto, who I think is going to be a number 2 starter in the league. Obviously, if you're buying that Nola just has been missing over the plate with 2 strikes here and there, but you like the strikeout to walk ratio and still think that all the past looks good, maybe Eduardo Rodriguez. There's plenty of pitchers available.
Here, lock it in right here, both of you. Does Trout get traded this offseason?
No.
Yes,
No.
Okay.
Artie won't do it.
you answer.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No.
No?
As much as I want to, as much as I love this conversation and being able to see this guy play on the East Coast every single day for a contender, I think his game will be elevated if he's on a contender. Just saying.
Mhm.
I'm saying no. Artie won't do it. Artie messed up Shohei. He's going to mess it up again.
Mhm.
Listen, he hasn't done too many things right, has he?
Stay
No,
consistent.
He is not. This is where Angels fans need to all just, sing Kumbaya. We all get together. We hold hands. We put our hands, around each other and at the bar, get drunk and say, let's all just hate the same person.